Introduction. Why should you watch this book summary? Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're unpacking The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, a heavyweight of a book that's like a cheat code for decoding human behavior, including your own. If you've ever been blindsided by a friend's betrayal, confused by your own impulsive choices, or just want to level up your social game, this is for you. It's not some fluffy self-help fluff. It's a raw, no-nonsense look at what drives us, backed by history, psychology, and Greene's razor-sharp insights. So why should you stick around for this summary? First, it's 624 pages of dense wisdom. I've distilled it into 30 minutes, so you don't have to slog through it, unless you want to, and you should. Second, understanding these 18 laws will help you spot manipulation, build better relationships, and stop tripping over your own flaws. It's like putting on X-ray glasses for the human soul. By the end, you'll walk away with practical tools to navigate life's chaos. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive into the wild world of human nature, starting with why we're not as rational as we think. Chapter 1. Master Your Emotional Self. The Law of Irrationality. Let's kick things off with Law 1. We're not the logical robots we pretend to be. Greene says humans are emotional volcanoes, erupting at the slightest trigger. Ever yelled at someone over a spilled coffee, only to feel dumb later? That's irrationality in action. This chapter's about wrestling that inner chaos into submission. Deep dive. Greene points to Pericles, the Athenian leader in 400 BC. During Athens' golden age, he stayed calm, dodging emotional traps like war fever. But after he died, the city's leaders let fear and pride spiral into the Peloponnesian War disaster. Today, it's like scrolling X and seeing mobs lose it over a hot take. We're wired to react, not reflect. Greene says our brain's amygdala, that fight or flight switch, hijacks us unless we intervene. Examples. Think of road rage. Someone cuts you off, and suddenly you're a screaming lunatic. Or Black Friday sales. People trampling each other for a TV they don't need. That's irrationality flexing. Quote, you like to imagine yourself in control of your fate, consciously planning the course of your life. But you are largely unaware of how deeply your emotions dominate you. Personal reflection. I've had moments like snapping at my partner over a messy kitchen, where I look back and think, who was that guy? It's humbling to see how emotions can puppeteer me. Application in life. Greene's fix? Delay your reaction. Next time you're fuming, say, over a snarky text, count to 10, breathe, or walk away. I've tried this at work. Instead of firing off an angry email, I drafted sleep on it and rewrite it calmer. It saved me from so many regrets. You can train your rational mind to take the wheel. Chapter 2. Transform self-love into empathy. The Law of Narcissism. Law 2 gets personal. We're all narcissists to some degree. Greene says self-love is natural. It keeps us alive. But when it's unchecked, we turn into self-obsessed jerks. The antidote? Flip it into empathy. Deep dive. Look at Queen Elizabeth I. She had swagger, ruling England with flair. But she didn't just preen. She read her courtiers' moods, winning loyalty by understanding them. Compare that to someone like Nero, whose narcissism burned Rome literally. Greene says we're on a spectrum. Healthy narcissists inspire. Toxic ones destroy. Today, it's that influencer who only posts selfies versus the one who engages their followers. Examples. Ever met someone who hijacks every conversation with me? That's narcissism unchecked. Or think of a leader who listens. Say, a teacher who gets why you're struggling. That's empathy in action. Quote, "We are all narcissists, some more than others. The goal is to transform this self-love into empathy." Personal reflection. I've caught myself obsessing over how I'm seen, like worrying about likes on a post instead of asking how my friends are. It's a wake-up call to look outward. Application in life. Practice active listening. Next time someone's talking, don't plan your reply, just reflect their feelings. Wow, that sounds tough. I've done this with my mom, and it's deepened our chats. Greene says people crave being understood. It's a superpower you can wield. Chapter 3. See through people's masks. The law of role-playing. Law 3 is about the theater of life. Greene says we're all actors, wearing masks to fit in or impress. But if you learn to spot the script, you'll see the real person underneath. Deep dive. Benjamin Disraeli, Britain's 19th century PM, was a master role player. He'd charm one crowd with wit, then pivot to gravitas for Parliament. It worked because he knew his stage. Greene says we do this too. Think of the perfect coworker who's secretly a mess. The trick is catching the glitches. A fake laugh, a tense shoulder. Today it's all over X. People curating happy lives that crack under scrutiny. Examples. Ever notice a friend who's always fine, but their eyes dodge yours? Or a boss who's overly cheerful right before layoffs? Mask slip. Quote, "We see people not as they are, but as they appear to us. And these appearances are usually misleading." Personal reflection. I've misread people, like assuming a loud extrovert was confident when they were just overcompensating. It's taught me to peel back the layers. Application in life. Become a body language sleuth. Watch for mismatches. Someone says, "I'm cool but fidgets like crazy." I've used this in meetings. Spotting nervousness helps me adjust my approach. Greene says truth hides in the unspoken. Chapter 4. Determine the strength of people's character. The law of compulsive behavior. Law 4 is about character, the core of who someone is. Greene says it's not what people say, but what they do over time, especially when the heat's on. Deep dive. Howard Hughes, the eccentric billionaire, dazzled early on, planes, films, wealth. But his compulsive control freak side led to isolation and ruin. Greene says character isn't one-off heroics, it's patterns. Think of a friend who always bails last minute, not busy, just flaky. Stress reveals the real deal. Heroes rise, cowards crumble. Examples. A coworker who shines in easy times but dodges hard projects. That's weak character. Or someone like a nurse staying calm in a crisis. That's gold. Quote, "The most significant indicator of people's character comes through their actions over time." Personal reflection. I've trusted smooth talkers who vanished when I needed them. Now I watch what people do, not say. Application in life. Test the waters. Give someone a small responsibility, like organizing a meetup, and see if they follow through. I've cut ties with repeat flakes and leaned on the reliable ones. Greene says character's your compass for who to trust. Chapter 5. Become an elusive object of desire. The law of covetousness. Law 5 taps into desire. People want what's rare or out of reach. Greene says scarcity and mystery make you irresistible. Deep dive. Cleopatra was the queen of this. She'd dazzle Julius Caesar with glamour, then disappear, leaving him chasing her shadow. It's psychology. Greene says we're wired to covet the unattainable. Today, it's the aloof crush who doesn't text back or the limited edition sneaker drop that sparks riots. Examples. Ever notice how a sold-out sign makes you want something more? Or how a reserved person at a party draws a crowd? That's covetousness. Quote, Dangle in front of others what they are missing most in life, and they will go crazy with desire. Personal reflection. I've seen this in dating. Being too available kills the vibe. A little mystery keeps things spicy. Application in life. Don't overshare. At work, tease a project idea without spilling it all. In love, take a beat before replying. Let them wonder. I've tried this, and it's like flipping a magnet on. Chapter 6. Elevate your perspective. The Law of Short-Sightedness. Law 6 is a reality check. We're obsessed with the now and blind to the future. Greene says zooming out saves you from dumb moves. Deep dive. The French Revolution is a classic. People chased quick justice, and it ended in guillotines and regret. Contrast that with Leonardo da Vinci, who planned every brushstroke years ahead. Today, it's like blowing your paycheck on a night out instead of saving for a trip. Examples. Think of FOMO-driven crypto crashes, people jumping blind. Or a student cramming versus studying steady, short-term pain, long-term gain. Quote, "We are slaves to the moment, unable to see what's coming." Personal reflection. I've impulse bought junk, like a cheap phone that died fast, when patience would have won. Application in life. Step back. Before a big choice, ask, what's this look like in 5 years? I've started journaling my goals weekly. It keeps my eyes on the prize. Chapter 7. Soften people's resistance by confirming their self-opinion. The Law of Defensiveness. Law 7 is influence gold. People hate being challenged. Greene says stroke their ego first, then steer them. Deep dive. Abraham Lincoln nailed this. He'd praise opponents, "You've got a sharp mind," before nudging them his way. It's disarming. Compare that to a know-it-all who gets shut down fast. Today, it's calming a stubborn sibling by agreeing on something small first. Examples. A teacher who says, "You're a great writer, just tweak this, you're hooked." Versus, "You're wrong," instant wall. Quote, "Make others the focus of attention, and they will lower their defenses." Personal reflection. I've turned fights around by starting with "you're right about." It's like a Jedi trick. Application in life. Validate first. In an argument, say, "I get why you feel that way," then pivot. I've used this with my boss. Works every time. Chapter 8. Change your circumstances by changing your attitude. The Law of Self-Sabotage. Law 8 flips the script. Your mindset shapes your world. Greene says stop playing victim. Own your lens. Deep dive. Anton Chekhov's life screams this. Abandoned by a deadbeat dad, he could have whined. Instead, he chose curiosity, becoming a literary giant. Greene says attitude isn't fluff, it's power. Today, it's turning a rainy day into a cozy vibe instead of a bummer. Examples. A fired worker who sulks versus one who starts a hustle. Same event, different outcome. Or a breakup, wallow or grow. Quote, "You are not a pawn, you are an active player." Personal reflection. I've spun bad mornings around with a killer playlist. It's small, but it shifts everything. Application in life. Reframe flops. Traffic jam? Time to think. I've started listing 3 positives daily. It's rewired my brain. Chapter 9. Confront your dark side. The Law of Repression. Law 9 gets gritty. We've all got a shadow, anger, envy, lust. Greene says hiding it makes it fester. Face it instead. Deep dive. Richard Nixon's good guy facade, mass paranoia. Watergate was the leak. Greene says repression backfires. Think of the perfect parent who explodes. Today, it's the saintly influencer caught in a scandal. The shadow always slips. Examples. A quiet coworker who snaps after years of yes, repressed rage. Or your own petty grudge that festers into bitterness. Quote, see people's overt traits as covering the opposite quality. Personal reflection. I've buried envy only to see it sneak out as snark. Owning it feels lighter. Application in life. Journal your ugly side. Greed, spite, whatever. Don't judge it. Redirect it. I've channeled mine into workouts. Raw energy, better use. Chapter 10. Beware the fragile ego, the law of envy. Law 10 unmasks envy. It's universal and sneaky. Greene says it hides behind smiles and can ruin you if you're not careful. Deep dive. Mozart and Salieri. Legend says Salieri's envy drove him to sabotage or worse. Greene says envy's a quiet killer. Today, it's the friend who jokes about your new car or the colleague who nitpicks your win. It's human. We compare, we covet. Examples. Ever get a backhanded compliment? Nice job. Didn't expect that from you? That's envy. Or your own pang when someone shines. Quote, envy is rarely expressed as envy. It transforms into something else. Personal reflection. I've felt that twinge when a peer succeeds. It's ugly, but real. Application in life. Spot it, subtle digs, forced praise. Counter your own envy with gratitude. I list 3 things I'm proud of daily. Keeps me grounded. Chapter 11. Know your limits. The law of grandiosity. Law 11 tackles ego trips. Success can puff you up until you pop. Greene says humility keeps you steady. Deep dive. Alexander the Great conquered half the world, then overreached. Dead at 32, empire gone. Greene says grandiosity blinds you. Today, it's the startup whiz who thinks one app makes them a god, then flops. Examples. A celeb who believes their own hype and tanks. Or you, biting off too much and burning out. Quote, the illusion of invincibility is a trap. Personal reflection. I've overestimated my stamina, like cramming too many projects, and crashed. Application in life. After a win, ask, what could fail? I've sought brutal feedback post-success. It's my anchor. Chapter 12. Reconnect to the masculine or feminine within. The law of gender rigidity. Law 12 shakes up norms. We all have masculine, bold, and feminine, soft sides. Greene says blending them makes you whole. Deep dive. Queen Elizabeth I ruled with steel and grace, masculine decisiveness, feminine charm. Greene says rigid roles limit you. Today, it's the tough guy who can't connect or the sweet girl who won't stand up. Both lose. Examples. A dad who hugs his kids, feminine warmth, masculine strength. Or a woman leading a team with empathy and grit. Quote, rigid gender roles limit your power. Personal reflection. I've leaned too tough and missed out on softness. Balance feels richer. Application in life. Flex both. If you're shy, speak up once. If you're bossy, ask questions. I've tried this in debates. Listening wins more than shouting. Chapter 13. Advance with a sense of purpose. The law of aimlessness. Law 13 is your GPS. Without purpose, you're adrift. Greene says it's the fuel for a meaningful life. Deep dive. Martin Luther King Jr.'s purpose, justice for all, powered him through threats. Greene says aimlessness is death by boredom. Today, it's the 9 to 5 zombie versus the side hustler with a mission. Examples. A musician grinding for their big break. Purpose drives them. Or you, scrolling X with no goal, lost time. Quote, a sense of purpose turns you into an unstoppable force. Personal reflection. I've drifted endless Netflix until I set goals like this video. Application in life. Dig deep. What fired you up as a kid? I loved stories. Now I tell them here. Write your why. Minds inspire through insight. Chapter 14. Resist the downward pull of the group. The law of conformity. Law 14 warns about herds. Groups make us lazy and dumb. Greene says break free. Deep dive. The Cultural Revolution in China. Mobs trashed reason for ideology. Greene says conformity numbs your brain. Today, it's jumping on X outrage or TikTok dances without asking why. Examples. Cancel culture. Everyone piles on, no one thinks. Or a clique pressuring you to fit in. Quote, in groups, we stop thinking deeply. Personal reflection. I've followed trends I hated, like skinny jeans, FOMO's a beast. Application in life. Pause. Next group frenzy. Ask, do I buy this? I've skipped bandwagons and felt freer. Chapter 15. Make them want to follow you. The law of fickleness. Law 15 is leadership decoded. People crave guidance but resent control. Greene says mix vision with warmth. Deep dive. Churchill in World War II, bold speeches, human touch, Britain rallied. Greene says leaders falter when they're cold or weak. Today, it's the manager who inspires versus the dictator who's hated. Examples. A coach who motivates with tough love. Or a friend who drags you along with charisma. Quote, leadership is a dichotomy. People want it and hate it. Personal reflection. I've led groups and felt that tug. Connection trumps commands. Application in life. Paint a picture. Say, here's where we're going. And ask for input. I've done this with friends planning trips. Everyone's in. Chapter 16. See the hostility behind the friendly facade. The law of aggression. Law 16 exposes fakes. Aggression hides in sweetness. Greene says spot it or get burned. Deep dive. John D. Rockefeller crushed rivals with a grin, ruthless charm. Greene says sophisticated aggressors manipulate softly. Today, it's the helpful coworker who undermines you or the passive-aggressive just kidding. Examples. A friend who always one-ups you. Or a boss who sugarcoats criticism that stings. Quote, sophisticated aggressors play on emotions. Personal reflection. I've been stung by fake niceness. It's a lesson in vigilance. Application in life. Look for tells, sarcasm, delays. I've called out subtle jabs calmly. Did you mean that? It shifts the dynamic. Chapter 17. Seize the historical moment. The law of generational myopia. Law 17 ties you to your time. Each era has a pulse. Greene says sync up and thrive. Deep dive. Boomers built. Gen X chase cash. Millennials seek meaning. Greene says your generation shapes you. MLK rode the civil rights wave. Perfect timing. Today, it's leveraging tech or social shifts. Examples. A Zoomer launching a startup on sustainability. Generational gold. Or missing the boat by clinging to old ways. Quote, your generation shapes you. Ride its opportunities. Personal reflection. As a millennial, I'm all about purpose. This channel's my wave. Application in life. What's your era's beat? I've tapped digital storytelling. Find yours and run with it. Chapter 18. Meditate on our common mortality. The law of death denial. Law 18 ends big. Death's coming, and ignoring it wastes life. Greene says face it to live fully. Deep dive. Steve Jobs said death cut through BS. Why waste a day? Greene contrasts this with denial. Think endless distractions. Today, it's binge watching versus chasing dreams. Examples. An old guy who starts painting at 80. Death woke him up. Or you, putting off that trip someday. Quote, awareness of mortality makes life more productive. Personal reflection. I dodge this topic. but imagining my end pushes me to act, like making this video. Application in life. Weekly ask, if I died tomorrow, what did I regret? I've started calling family more, time's ticking. Conclusion. Wrapping up and questions for you. We've unpacked all 18 laws. The laws of human nature is a beast. Greene hands us a mirror and a playbook. From taming emotions to leading with purpose. These laws can rewire how you live if you use them. Now, your turn. Hit the comments. Which law struck you most? Irrationality, envy, mortality? What mask do you catch yourself wearing? And why? What's one habit you'll tweak after this? Who in your life needs these laws? A tricky friend? A boss? If this resonated, smash that like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll keep dropping deep dives. Grab the book for the full dose. It's a game changer. See you next time. Stay sharp, fam.